So, on today's episode, I really want to draw on the inspiration from two incredible kings and to honor Dwyane Wade and Nipsey Hussle. May his soul rest in peace. And to really talk about how these two men have been such incredible examples of living a life poured out, of living a life bigger than yourself, of making a difference in others' lives, and truly leaving a legacy. So let's talk about it today, guys. So today, I really just wanted to pull some reflections and share with you guys many of the thoughts that some of you are thinking and some of the things that I believe will help us continue forward as we focus, number one, on celebrating the life of, Nipsey Hussle. Everybody's been talking about the marathon continues, and I'm like, I'm here for it, but how do we practically do that? And then, so Dwyane Wade, who has been transitioning from being an incredible, all-star, I certainly believe Hall of Famer NBA player, to now a life after basketball. And so I don't know if you guys have seen the Budweiser commercial. That's a complete tearjerker. So here's a spoiler alert, right? And so he's been trading jerseys with different people, different players. And so they say, we've got 5 more for you. And so the 5 people end up not being athletes at all. They are people who he has blessed just with his efforts and with his generosity and philanthropy. And so he's completely surprised. And I mean, the video just really, it is definitely a tearjerker. It is, oh my gosh. But it shows you what it looks like to live a life poured out, to live a life above, to live out loud and to live outside of yourself and to really make a difference in the world, which is really what both of them did. I'll admit I was definitely aware of who Nipsey Hussle was. I wasn't a big fan. I'm definitely more of the Lauren London fan, so I was aware of him. So even as I've learned more about the work that he's done, I'm like blown away because it's amazing. And he lived such a life poured out. He lived a life that was a yes to the assignment that God has for all of us, which is to use our gifts, our talents, and our abilities that he put inside of us to make somebody else's life better. And so I wanted to pull away 3 things I think we can take to follow in the example and to certainly honor the life of Nipsey Hussle and the career of Dwyane Wade, to empty out and to live a life that's poured out. So one of the reflections I thought about as I was preparing for this episode was that when we think about our lives, many of us desire to live a life that, is one that has a legacy where people remember us for what we did when we're gone. But I think sometimes we think it's going to be like this one big boom and don't necessarily realize that our years are simply a collection of months, a collection of weeks, a collection of days, a collection of moments. And so it's not this one big boom, but it's really making a shift in every moment and every day, which builds into weeks, months, and years, right? And so here's number 1. I think that we are called to receive daily. Receive daily. What do you mean by that, Tiffany? Well, the word tells us to pray in this manner: give us this day our daily bread. In our quiet time with the Lord on a daily basis, one of the reasons, in addition to just communing with him and showing him love and honoring him, is also receiving wisdom and instruction and strength for the day. There's somebody that you're meant to impact today, whether it's just a smile, an affirming word, a hug, or to give away something. Every day you are to give a piece of yourself away. And so in our quiet time, God will give us, number 1, the peace, the wisdom, the joy, the strength that we need to be full to overflowing so that we can overflow into somebody else's life. And so Are you receiving every day? Are you taking a moment to step into the presence of God and say, give me what I need for today to be in your will and to be in your assignment for this day? And every day we're to operate in that space. Give us this day our daily bread. So I want to encourage you first to receive daily. Then second, to seek daily. So what I know is there are opportunities around us every single day to impact somebody's life. And what I find is that we look for the big boom, you know. Certainly I love and I'm working to have millions of dollars so that I can pay off people's tuition. And sometimes we may look at what someone like Dwyane Wade did and say, well, I can't, pay someone's whole tuition, or I can't do this $1,000 shopping spree. But could you give $5 to a single mom in need who's raising money for her child to go on a trip? Can you make packs to share with the homeless with toiletries or food or snacks? What do you have the capacity to do? We can't compare ourselves and say, well, I can't do that. I might not be able to do that either, but I can do something. I can support my local college by giving back to them. I can do something that impacts and blesses someone's life. And so after I spend my time in the presence of God every day, I'm looking for ways, whether I'm in the Walmart and somebody looks down and I just smile at them and say, it's going to be all right. Something that I can do every day to uplift someone. So do you, and I want to encourage you to look for moments, seek out opportunities every day to just bless and to impact someone's life. And when you do that, the third thing is give yourself daily. Many of us say that we want to live a life poured out. We want to go to our grave empty, but do you go to bed empty at night? Because the truth of the matter is, if you haven't just made it a daily practice to go to bed empty, God, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to let you fill me, and I'm going to give myself out today, then the truth is you may not be living a life poured out. Or how are you going to go to your grave empty when you have a habit of carrying excess in yourself? So for those of you who are like, you know what, I want to go to my grave empty. I want to leave a mark on the world, and I want to take everything God has given me and leave it here. Then I want to encourage you to start small. Do that every day. Go to bed empty. Allow God to fill you for the day. Seek out opportunities. And when you find them, give everything, whether it's love, a hug, time, your presence, whether it's excess clothes in your closet and you give them away, whatever opportunity you find to do, to create, to be, do it with 100% of yourself. Go to bed every day knowing that I gave all of me away. And tomorrow I start over again. I let God fill me again. And then I seek out ways and I pour out. It could be on your job. It could be in your family with your own children. There are always opportunities to give of yourself and to end the day knowing I did everything God asked me to do. And when you do that for days, those turn into weeks, those turn into months, those turn into years, and it turns into the life that we say. It turns into the life and the career of someone like a Dwyane Wade who just took moment after moment to be there for everybody else. It took form in the life of Nipsey Hussle, who decided not to just be a rapper or even just an entrepreneur, but to really be a philanthropist, to be someone who gives of their life to make sure that everybody else around them is impacted and blessed by the gifts that God has given them. The breath in your body that you get on a daily basis, that's our gift from God. But what we decide to do with it, that's our gift back to him. And you've heard that before, but don't wait for the big boom moment. Just every day, do something small. Those things add up. And when you look back, it will be a life that someone else will say, I am so glad he was alive. I am so glad that she was alive. What will we be able to say about your life after you've lived it? Will it be a life poured out? So I want to celebrate and say thank you, first of all, to Dwyane Wade for an incredible career. And even though I'm not an athlete, you've been an example to me on how to live a life poured out, how to take whatever I have and make sure that somebody else is blessed. And of course, we honor and we celebrate the life of Nipsey Hussle, someone who was a trailblazer, who Lord knows was an example for those of us not in entertainment, for all of us to just do what God told us to do, to dominate, to multiply, to reign, to subdue, and to spread the earth with what he's given us. I want to hear you guys' comments. I want to know what you think about this, how your life was impacted by either of those two gentlemen, or just the idea of living a life outside of yourself that's bigger than who you are. And of course, as always, I encourage you to comment, subscribe if you haven't already, share this with someone that you know this will be a blessing for. And of course, get on our CEO list. Go on over to kingdomboss.com or tiffanyBethea.com and get on our list so that every week you get our news, our tips, our updates, and special alerts that we only share with our incredible CEO community. All right, guys, let's continue to give and to share and to pour out who we are. We're going to go every day to bed empty so that at the end of our lives, we're going to the grave empty. Can't wait to see you guys on the next episode.